Look who we got coming in.
How about that? So you're going to replace the one-time All-Star LaMelo Ball with a two-time All-Star in Isaiah Thomas. This is our first look at Isaiah in a Hornets uniform, signed to a 10-day contract.
This is Isaiah Thomas, a man who was once torching the NBA, now reduced to just signing 10-day contracts and relying on those to stay on NBA rosters. I would love to make a video where I go in depth on this man's career sometime in the future, but today we're going to specifically talk about the 2016-17 season, because this man was torching your team if you like the NBA that year. As a Pacers fan, we got the Isaiah Thomas treatment a few times. His best game against us is whenever he had 28-9, and his worst game is when he had 23-5. And although the games were pretty close that year, the Pacers never beat the Celtics that year. Little did we all know going into this game that this little man, who was skipped on by 59 teams in the 2011 NBA draft, would finish 5th in the 2017 MVP voting, only behind LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and obviously Russell Westbrook, who would win it that year, who was averaging 36, 10, and 10 a game. While we are on the topic of averages, we may as well go over Isaiah Thomas's. He was nearly averaging 30 points a game, nearly 3 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists, along with nearly a steal per game. Bro could also get up there. Being only 5'9", he had a 40-inch vertical leap. He went and used that vertical by trying to dunk in the 2017 NBA All-Star game, but you're about to see how that ended up.
Taking to the rim. Here is looking to feed himself off the glass. And here is Thomas.
Okay.
Everybody got it back to shoot the three and hits.
Dunking may not have been his specialty, but you know what was? Leading the Celtics to wins. Remember how I told you they were 51-25 with him? Well, without him, they were 2-4. The 2016-17 season was also the year he would have his career high in points. On December 30th, 2016, he would have 52 points and 2 rebounds and 1 steal. Not exactly lighting up the stat sheet, and his Celtics only won by 3 points. But he would light it up in the fourth quarter, having 29 points alone in the fourth. Now, every NBA player has had their downsides, especially Isaiah Thomas, considering he is 5'9" and shorter than everybody else on the court. But you can't fault Isaiah Thomas for that, because it's just how he was born, that's how he is, he's just short, and he cannot change that. But the Celtics did an amazing job hiding his defensive flaws, because not only did NBA fans, or just anybody in general, not notice it, but it was winning them games, so why would they stop? I feel that Avery Bradley was a critical piece in making sure the Celtics' defense was pretty good. And honestly, if they didn't have Avery Bradley there, 1, Isaiah Thomas's flaws would be a lot more noticeable, and 2, I think the Celtics probably would have lost a lot more games. Going into the 2017 NBA playoffs, the Celtics were riding high, being the 1 seed, being 53-29. But unfortunately, right before the first game of the NBA playoffs, tragedy would strike, as Isaiah Thomas's sister, China Thomas, would die in a car accident on April 15th, 2017. But Isaiah Thomas would choose to play in the NBA playoffs, a true showing of courage and strength by this young star. Unfortunately, the Celtics would not get started very quickly, as they would drop the first 2 games, both being at home, first one being by 4 and the second one being by 14. And everyone at this point was thinking, wow, can the 8-seeded Bulls take out the number 1 seeded Celtics? But Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics would shut the haters up as they would turn it around and win the next 4 games of the series, moving on to the second round to go face the Washington Wizards. The Celtics would start this series off completely different, as they would win the first 2 games. The first one, 123-111, where Isaiah Thomas would score 33, and then in Game 2 on May 2nd, on his sister's birthday, Isaiah Thomas would score 53 points in a dominant 129-119 win over the Wizards. And in Isaiah Thomas fashion, he would score 20 of those 53 points in the fourth quarter alone. This is what Isaiah Thomas said post-game.
Isaiah, where is this coming from, man? Where is this coming from?
It's my sister. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday. She would have been 23 today, so everything I do is for her, and she's watching over me, so that's all her.
But the Washington Wizards came back furious. They were mad they let Isaiah score 53 points. They would come back and win the next game 116-89, and then they would go win Game 4 121-102. Though Isaiah Thomas would not perform great in Game 5, in 34 minutes being 38% from the field and only having 18 points, it would really help when Avery Bradley would step up, scoring 29 points, having 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Isaiah Thomas and the Boston Celtics would take Game 5 123-101. When I say Game 6 was intense, I am not joking. Bradley Beal had 33 points, John Wall had 26. Avery Bradley and Isaiah Thomas both had 27, and the final score was 92-91, and the Wizards would win, forcing a Game 7. In Game 7, Isaiah would have 29 points and 12 assists. And Bradley Beal on the Wizards would nearly have 40 points, but in the end it didn't matter because the Celtics would take the series, heading to the Eastern Conference Finals 115-105. Unfortunately for the Celtics and Isaiah Thomas, this is where it would all fall apart. In Game 1, Isaiah Thomas would have a 17-point and 10-assist double-double. Isaiah Thomas would play 17 minutes and have 2 points in Game 2. After a first half that only saw the Celtics score 31 points, he'd be ruled out for the remainder of the game with a hip injury. He would not play the rest of the playoffs. And after that series, he would never, ever, ever be in a Celtics uniform ever again.
But if you're Boston, you don't have to think about paying him next summer like you were going to have to think about with Isaiah Thomas. And he's not a miniature 5'9" guard, so that you're worried about having to give $30 million to. And so that definitely helps you while not only are you still in championship contention within the Eastern Conference, but you're incentivized even more because you got a guy in Kyrie Irving who wants it out.
2016-17 would be the last amazing year of Isaiah Thomas. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.